I want to take you back a little bit, Miss D. Can I do that?
Oh yeah, I'm ready.
Okay, we're going to go back a little bit. I want to go back to your description of this is what women do and this is what men do.
Okay.
In the day of, I don't know what to call it because I'm not a part of that movement. Do you think we're losing our femininity or we're losing the man-woman? You know, like this is what women do and this is what men do. I believe it's natural for us to nurture. That's what mothers do.
Yes.
They have the baby and they nurture them. You know, and dad is that strong spot in the life.
Yes.
But life is not like that so much now.
It's not. It's not.
You know, like family is slowly evolving and I don't know how to say dissipating.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that wholeheartedly. Sometimes, you know, me myself, I cry because people tell me I'm a strong black woman. I'm not a strong black woman. You know, I'm not a. Some women call themselves alpha female. I'm not an alpha female. I'm Dee Hill. I'm a feminine woman. I love to be held. I love to be touched. I love to be encouraged. And I think that social media has helped in a good way. But at the same time, you got a lot of women because of social media want to be Cardi B. You know, and I read a lot of women's comment in my household. This is how I was brought up. Daddy was the king of that household. You know, I be hearing a lot of women, my kid's gonna eat first, my kid's gonna eat first. It went like that in my household. You know, Daddy wore the pants, he was the king of that castle. And, you know, we love Daddy and we respect Daddy. Mama made us respect Daddy. And I don't see a lot of that, you know, in the families today. And I think women holds that family together. Women holds that family together, and it's up to us to make sure that we have that nurturing, like you were saying before, like we did in the older days. And you know, I hate to say it, but I really don't see that today. And I think social media has a lot to do with
that. I think the woman movement have a lot to do with it. I remember once I was at a meeting, and at first I thought it was my age, but I was with women that was close to my age, and I said, well, when we come to the meetings, you know, we can cook something, and the lady said, we don't want to give off that, you know, attitude or that. I was like, well, I love to cook. You know, I want to be able to take care of a family. You know, I hope one day that I get somebody. Let me tell you something. I am tired of being a strong woman.
Yes.
I know this may be, I'm tired of handling it all, carrying it all. I remember when my daughter said, well, Mama, it's so easy for you. I was like, what in the world are you talking about? She said, well, you make it look easy if it's not. But, you know, like, we have to keep our lives going. We have to keep it. But my dad was a single parent. So, you know, I don't believe in I'm the mama and the daddy. He couldn't be the mom and the daddy.
Thank you.
But he surely did his part as the daddy.
Yes.
And I appreciate him for that. He took his role as the daddy, you know, but he cooked anyway. You know, he cooked anyway. Even before Mom died, Daddy cooked.
Yeah.
So, you know, Daddy still taught us how to cook. And it was the same way once we got to a certain age. We were raised, we had girl things to do and we had boy things to do. The boys did some things and the girl. When I had to move to Atlanta and start pumping my own gas and worry about, I was here almost a year before I had the oil change. Good thing I had a Honda. My brother said, I said, I went to the car wash to get my car washed. And the man said, did you change your oil? I called my brother before I let the man. He said, you haven't changed it. But anyway, I believe in boy and girl world.
Yes.
And I believe in sister world. That was so big, you know, that you say we have to be sister. And we shouldn't compete with one another. But the real thing, Miss D, you know, I was standing talking with a man. And I'm gonna talk about the man's conversation.
Okay.
He said all that sister stuff y'all talking. I watch all the backbiting y'all do. You know, I watch how y'all talk about one another the minute they're gone. You know, y'all setting up the stage so you can look bigger than this one. And you know what I said to him? Not a mumbling word.
Mm-hmm.
Because
he was sitting back watching.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So you know, like, we want to say, I'm not gonna get to that part yet.
Okay.
I want to stay on sisterhood. And let me give this example of what's going on at work right now. You know, we have RNs and LPNs. All of my many years in nursing, we never separated because we know we need each other to do the job.
Yes.
And the outside world do not understand that.
Mm-hmm.
The practical nurse, we do the practical part of nursing. We are in there. The RN does, the registered nurse, she does a lot of officiating.
Mm-hmm.
But the nursing comes from us, okay? We never had a division because we need it all to work.
Yeah.
So that's not the way it's working in the new world. I call it the new world. In the new world, so here comes some RNs not finding out how we're working, how it worked before. So it's just a big collision. And I'm using that right there as a big collision because we're like, what in the world are you talking about?
Yeah.
You know, we manned the floor in every area of nursing for many, many years. And now they're coming in. They don't really want patient care in the first place. So they're going on to be nurse practitioners. I don't know who's going to take care of patients after we all retire. But I'm only using that as an example because it happens in every area of life. One nurse wants to be better than the other nurse, so she have to sabotage her. You know, you're not asking how we do it. So here you come with this, to us, outrageous. What are you doing?
Yeah.
You know, this is mental health. This is not how you handle. I understand you do ICU, but this is not how you handle mental health patients. So we're always combative, and I use that because that's a big war going on. And it's kind of an example of how we, I got more than you, my man more handsome than you. Where we get this foolishness from?
Yeah, and you know who said that best? I forgot the name of the movie, but Taji, well, you know, the black actress, I forgot Taji's name. She's a very Henson, yeah, the one from Power. She was in a movie with it was about, I think, building going up to space. I think that was the movie about. And 3 of the black women, it was a true story. And 3 of the black women are the ones that actually, whatever they was working on, put all that together. And she said in an interview, see what this has accomplished. Because I think the astronauts went up to the moon or something. Black women was the ones that, And she said, see what this accomplished when we worked together. They was able to do that.
Yeah.
And they was, you know, backbiting, backstabbing, and all of that would not have got accomplished. And I think that interview, it said so much to me. And, you know, I think about that interview daily because it's so true. And sometimes, you know, we got titles, we don't want to work together. And, you know, it's all about pulling each other down when we don't have to. When we don't have to. When we don't have to pull each other down. And it just amazes me because I look around and see some of the things that we have gotten done, which is a lot. And I think that we could get a lot more done once we learn to work together. And not only that, we're teaching our younger generations how not to work together once we start doing that. Once we start doing that. Once we start knocking down another sister, the younger generation, you know, they're going to look at us. They're going to start doing the same thing. So I think that it's so important for us women to get together. Put our heads together, y'all, and you would be surprised at what we can accomplish. Definitely what we can accomplish.
I want to say this, Miss. And I know that this is your area, and I'm just on the outside looking at it. But I think a lot of that comes from insecurity within yourself.
Yeah.
The things that make your life short. And a lot of us, we really don't know ourselves. You know, you hear this sometimes. Oh, well, you know me, because you know me. That's not me. And the whole time, I'm like, do you really? You can't know you. You ever run into that? Talk to us about how do we get to know ourselves. You know, because a lot of us, we don't want to face our shorts. You know, we start making up. Can I just say it the way it is? We start making up lies and fantasies, and we become so fake because we don't know who we are, and we don't want to face our shorts. Can we talk about that?
Yeah, I think honestly, this is just my personal opinion. I think what you go through in life, it started when you was a child. How was you brought up? What did you see, you know, in your household, your family household? And I think that, you know, if we don't like watch things on social media that's encouraging to us how to treat other people, we don't meditate. And I think that, you know, we still would have what they call it, crabs in the barrel. We would still have that crabs in the barrel mentality once again when we don't have to, when we don't have to do that. And I think that it's important, you know, to read books that are positive, that's powerful. And the most important thing, who are you hanging around? You know, who are you hanging around? Who are you calling your sister? Who is you calling your girlfriend? Who are you calling your friends? I think that has a lot to do with, you know, your everyday life, whether it's positive, whether it's negative.
And another thing, this really helped me because it really helped me grow my personality. Checking out my moods.
Yeah.
Why? Because I was such an unfaithful friend.
Yes.
But it was because I think I didn't trust myself. So I began to ask myself, why did you say that? And then I found out how unfaithful I was to myself.
Yeah. And I think, too, a lot that would help. When I was growing up as a little girl, you know, black women probably go through things more than any other race. One thing we never did, and what some of us never still do, go and talk to somebody. Go and talk to a counselor and see why this is like happening to you. You know, getting that therapy that you really need, I think, has a lot to do with it as well. Because if you don't really confront yourself with what you're going through, that problem that you're dealing with, how you think you are, it's still going to be there. It's not going to go away. I'm 50 years old. I'm still dealing with some stuff, y'all. I'm still dealing with a lot of stuff. Things that I felt that I should have addressed when I was younger, but I did not know how to.
Right. You know. And I'm so glad you brought that up because, you know, right now I'm working in mental health. I'm an agency member, and my two specialties are correction and mental health. So I'm either working in correction or mental health. And I try to make people understand that what you're dealing with, we all deal with.
Yes. Lord.
And just like you deal with your health, and you want to take care, you don't have to be dying of cancer to take care of your body. Although some of us wait to that point. You know,
last minute.
Like I had somebody at work. Didn't you tell me last time you had me take your blood pressure? That you didn't take your medicine yesterday, and when I tell you it's a silent killer, you say yes. We do the same thing to our mind. We don't take care of our minds. We don't do, you know, we take vitamins for our body. We don't take the necessary time, like you mentioned, meditation, you know, prayer time, and whatever, you know, you do for you, you know. We don't take enough time with ourselves to keep us healthy. Can you talk about that?
Yeah, you know, what I do, this is what I did. I went to the dollar store, and I got me a little tablet, and I got me a ink pen, and I just keep that on my seat. Time when I get in the car, every day I'm writing down something positive. Every day I'm going to write down something positive. And this is and I'm glad that you brought about the mental health. I'm glad that you brought that up. And it's a video going on TikTok. To me, it's just so funny. It's about this young boy. He's about 15 years old. He's crying. His dad, they come to his room and ask him, "Oh, I hear you dealing with depression." And the boy is crying. He was like, "Yeah, I'm not feeling myself lately, and I've been feeling like this a lot." And his dad would tell him, "Go in there and depress them dishes." You know. And we had to deal with a lot of that, growing up, because people, and I don't know in your household, but I know in my neighborhood, people did not go get the help they needed, because it's like, if you went and talked to a psychiatrist, "Oh, she crazy." Stay away from her. So it's like we never healed from things that we was dealing with at a younger age. And it's just so important. You talked about the vitamins to put in your body to heal your body, but it's so important what you're putting up here also.
Come on now.
Yeah, it's just so important what you put up there in your mind. And I'm so glad that you are doing this, putting it on YouTube, because YouTube is so good about putting information out there, how to meditate, how to just be in silent mood, how to get this properly acting right, because sometimes your mind just be like all over the place. And it's all about you starting to heal yourself, your inner self.
And I made
mentally.
a post on Facebook a few weeks ago. So my biggest problem is the thoughts in my own mind. That's my biggest
yes,
war.
Lord, yes.
Because I'm going to bring up another word I want you to talk about. Because we must learn how to think again. We're not thinking. We follow the crowd. We follow what everybody else is doing.
Yes.
Sorry, I'm scared of dog man.
Me too.
We
about to take up wrong.
I had to make sure they were going to change. So we're not thinking. Let's talk about that.
Okay.
How important it was. What?
We don't. It's so much out there on social media. I think people are letting social media think for them. And it's like people don't have an opinion or anything. When people post stuff on social media, whatever the comments say, majority of the comments, we're going to agree with it. So we really don't think for ourselves. We let social media think for us. Even like some of the girls walking around naked, twerking, we put in our own head that's sexy. That's how we should look. This is how our husband want us to look. So
and that's why we don't have it.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
And we don't think on our own like we used to. Social media, like I said, and I'll say it again, plays a big role in how we're thinking today. And sometimes I can understand people say, "Well, I don't have a TV." Before, I did not understand that. Now I do. Yeah, now I do understand why they not looking at TV every day, because it would drive you crazy.
I don't have a TV in my room because I need room to think. At the end of every day, I go over my day.
Yes.
I go over my day, and I check me out first. And things that didn't go so well, I have to face me with it, and then of course God.
Yeah.
What could I have done to do it better? But at a very young age, Miss D, at a very young age, and my audience knows this, I sought out mental health. Mom died when she was young. So I came up as a young woman with a daddy raising her, and I didn't know how to face life. And I was going to do some changes that I knew something was wrong with me. This was not normal.
Yeah.
This was not right.
Yeah.
And my dad wouldn't agree to the treatment. But I was so desperate for somebody to help me. And I'm not going to call the name of the place. But they allowed me to see a counselor, but I could not get medicine. And I thank God, and I really believe it was the Holy Spirit directed that I know I needed that for myself. And sometimes, especially during menopause, I had my girl on speed dial. So especially during menopause, I had to seek out that counseling. It's like going to the doctor for a checkup. Like you have a bad cold and you're hurting, you're gonna go to the doctor and get medicine to get you through that. Sometimes you have to go to the doctor to get you through this little blot of illness that you're going through. And sometimes it's like heart disease or HIV. You know, like I told my little cousin that have that had, look, I gotta take a pill every day. I have high blood pressure. You have to take a pill every day. It's okay.
Yeah.
So can you address that a little bit, especially to women who are going through having to do the man's role, whether we admit we overloaded, you know, we doing way beyond what we were created for, having to do the man's load, having to raise the kids, having to sometimes fight with guys to be a part in the children's life. Sometimes we need to face the fact we need to let these daddies see these children the way they want, because we're not letting the daddies see them because of all kinds of crazy stuff that we're going through. But sometimes we need help.
Yeah.
And as a community.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can you address that for us?
I think every female, no matter how old you are, you need that me time. You know, and you brought up a point where the female should let the husband get the kids sometime, because you got them kids 24/7. You're not going to be mentally stable like you should be to take care of yourself, let alone take care of some kids. And I don't have any kids. I hate that I don't. I really want some. But, you know, even me, I have to have that time to myself so I won't have a mental breakdown. And just like I said, I keep something in my car that I write down something positive every day. And I hate that we as people get into this thing. We've been taught this at a young age, because I was told this from my sister. If you at a stoplight, just close your eyes for a second. That's meditation. That's not meditation at no stoplight. You really need to calm your brain. You really need to get into a space, you know, nice soft music, calm your brain, because you know that brain is so powerful, and it will be all over the place. It will be all over the place. It will start chaos. So chaos. And like I said, it's nothing. Even if you feel okay, go and still talk to somebody. Go and still talk to a therapist, because you know you sitting up there thinking that you're okay, and you tell the therapist, well, my mind racing 24/7. Why is your mind racing 24/7? It starts there. And you know, I don't want to be in a place where I don't know if you all remember the show Saved by the Bell. I forgot her name, but the young black, she was the only black girl on that show. She was so pretty to me. I was mesmerized with her. And today her mind is just gone. Her mind is gone, mental illness. And you know, we have to start early to catch it early. To catch that early. And it's all about, you know, taking that time out. Even on the weekend, y'all just get a hotel yourself, just go and relax. Just go and relax. You have to take care of yourself. You have to. Because I know when I was diagnosed with bipolar disorder, and I went and talked to my family about it, I always knew, like you said, something was wrong with me, but I did not know what. My family was more upset than what I was that I had bipolar. I'm like, well, it's okay. And I think the reason why I really wanted to let everybody know what was going on with me, because she said it runs in my family. It runs in your family. And I said, okay, if my niece or somebody get it as well, will you all know how to handle it? And so my situation, you know, I've been in over maybe 20 or 30 fights. You all would look at me, fist fights. So I was told that I had to go and talk to a therapy to see what was going on with me. So my mom went with me, and we went to go see a psychiatrist. And I was hospitalized in a mental ward for 2 weeks. You're the first person I'm sharing this with. People did not know that about me. Yeah, I was in a mental ward for 2 weeks because they did not know why I was fighting like that. I did not know why I was fighting like that. But the thing was, once I was evaluated and everything, that help stopped. And I just feel that that help should have continued because I kept fighting through my adult. Somebody say the wrong thing to me, I was fighting. And it's like, I'm 50 years old. Now I'm going to get help, being put on medication, being going to talk to a therapist when this should have, like, been done when I was younger. So stereotyping people that go and talk to mental health is not crazy. You have to look out for you. You definitely have to look out for you. Because if not, you would be in a situation where so many that's end up in a mental ward is. And, we just don't want that, especially for women, especially for black women that has kids that they have to take care of. Just take a day or so out, one day out of a week just to take care of you. Or a month if you have to, just to take care of you. Because it's all about this right here, taking care of this.
And Ms. D, I think if we followed your advice, we wouldn't have so much suicide. You wouldn't
Oh my
believe
God.
suicide and attempted suicide and ideations of suicide. We
Yeah.
see that every day from little children as young as 7 all the way through adulthood.
Yes.
It's just unbelievable.
Yes. It's sad because it's like, what's the word that I want to use for that? When I was growing up, I was tall. I was raised in a Baptist church, and it's like I was told people that commit suicide going straight to hell. I grew up saying that. But once I got older and learned what mental health was, I'm not going to say I understood that why they committed suicide, but I saw why.
You saw the path.
Yes, I saw the path. I understood. And it's like, I hear people to this day say, well, I was upset last week. I was depressed. Don't get you being depressed with depression.
Exactly.
Don't
You
get
being
those two
sad.
mixed up.
You
Yes.
sad. Something made you sad, and something could come make you happy.
Yes.
It's not depression.
Oh, no. People that suffer from depression, it's a black cloud that comes over them that never goes away.
And nothing that happens, they can't rise above.
Mm-hmm. Yes. And it's sad because, mental health was not discussed in the black neighborhood, in my family. It wasn't talked about. Mental health meant you was crazy. So who wants to be, considered crazy? Even with my situation, I didn't tell nobody that I was in no mental ward for no 2 weeks. They probably would have looked down on me. They probably would look down on me now, but I'm at the point I don't care. But even when I found out I had bipolar, I put it on social media. Not that I was putting my business out there, but because I wanted to help so many people that was dealing with the same situation that I was. And I wanted to let them know, hey, you're not by yourself. I suffer. I have it too. I don't use the word suffer. I have it.
Yeah, and I'm glad we're able to share, those issues, because we have to bring healing.
Yes.
Bring healing to the world first, to ourselves.
Yes.
And we have to restore family to our families. You wouldn't believe the little children we get in because they're violent and homicidal toward their parents. And those, so we have to begin to heal from the inside.
Definitely.
So I think this was the most important part of this interview, Ms. D.
Yes.
And I can't wait till the word gets out there.
Yeah.
I want to thank you. And is there any one last thing you want to say to us about radio, to us as women, or to us as mental health? You could say one to each, or the one thing that's important to you, whatever. Tell us.
Okay. The most important thing to me as a parent, make sure you're careful about what you say about mental health people. Like I say, people like to throw the word crazy out there a lot. You don't want your son or your daughter to be going through anything and they're afraid to come to you and talk to you because they're going to be considered crazy. So just be mindful about what you say about mental health patients, mental health people. Please, y'all, please, please have these conversations. Have these conversations just like you sit down with your son and daughter. You can talk about what goes on Facebook. Have these conversations about mental illness. And for my people in radio, I love you. And for the ones that live in Georgia, we did get a bill passed April the 21st through the 25th is now Men and Women in Radio Week in the state of Georgia.
All right. You've been working on that.
Yes.
All right.
And also March the 9th is also Women in Radio Day. We got that passed as well. So I hope that this interview reaches a lot of states, because I want each state to catch on and also have their very own Men and Women in Radio Week.
Awesome.
Yeah.
It was just so awesome and refreshing and healing to have Dee Hill with us.
Oh, thank you. I'm glad.
That's the Dee Hill show,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Am I right?
Yes. In the community with Dee Hill, and on my radio show. Make sure you listen to me on Beat Break FM as well, Dee Hill, and make sure you follow all my social media, Facebook. I'm on TikTok, y'all, so make sure you follow me there too, under Dee Hill. So follow me, and I will follow you back.
DEE Hill.
Yes.
Thanks so much for being with us today. And I hope your life is blessed. This is great information, good conversations, and I'm sure it'll start a lot of conversation in the community. You're always welcome to Moments with Vivacious.